for the third time we have Marco Massarutto, the founder of Kunos Simulazioni, and we talk again about Assetto Corsa EVO. So welcome in Spa here, Marco.
Thank you very much.
How was your trip to Spa?
Long. From Rome by car was quite long. Yeah, beautiful roads, beautiful environment, place, and this time I wanted to drive instead of just to.
You visited any other of the 24-hour races, or is it only Spa for you?
No, only Spa.
Yeah, it's a great summer for racing fans.
Wow, all in a row. Le Mans, Nürburgring, now Spa is just great.
You guys are also very busy right now developing Assetto Corsa EVO.
Just a bit.
So you kind of revamped also the roadmap. So we are a little bit delayed now.
Yeah.
And which is also great news. Many people will know that Stefano is back in your team.
The founder of Kunos Simulazioni. I always say that I don't know where Kunos will be if I never join the team. What we know for sure is that without Stefano, there is no Kunos. So I always say that he's the founder and I'm the co-founder, because I had the privilege to work with him very closely for 17 years. So I'm so glad that at the end he decided to get back and to support us in this beautiful and challenging project that is EVO.
I just had a community question also related to that. Someone asked in our forum, because back then, like 9 years ago, Stefano had this format on YouTube where he explained like development stuff. So he had like really deep dives into coding and stuff.
It was quite in detail, technical detail. He's a pure programmer, so he likes to share this kind of things. Yeah, that is it's not for everybody, but he's quite keen to find the edge of the technology that is behind a product like Assetto Corsa.
So I guess he's a big help and also a great push for the development of the game.
Well, he brought his genuine and very straight approach to the production, because we are tuning some aspects of the both the production and the technology that is behind the EVO, because we worked for more than 4 years on a technology, because we don't use a real engine for EVO, and we wanted to create something that eventually we can use through the years, not just for one project, but for even for other applications. We are very ambitious and keen to create something quite good that we want to work with. Sometimes the boundaries between doing something that is feasible and going over scope is quite tiny. So we are working in order to calibrate better some aspects of the project, not the game, I would say, but the project itself, in order to match with our expectations and the expectations of the public.
Okay, then we are obviously in Spa, so the Rouge Rally corner is just behind us. You can maybe see it a little bit, a glimpse of it, the GT4 racing right now.
Yeah.
And kind of the announcement was that like two weeks ago you announced, hey, it's time. Yeah, we have the first GT3 car unveiled now for Assetto Corsa EVO. I mean, it had to happen at some point because simulator without GT3 and Spa.
Yeah, it's a perfect match.
Yeah, it's not possible.
GT3 and Formula One are the most.
It had to happen at some point. So
the content. So.
But in this trailer where you unveiled the BMW M4 GT3 EVO, we also saw the SRO logo, and you are also running like a competition here in the fan zone. So the question is then, because the SRO sanctioned series were the official like tournaments for ACC, is this at the same time also a glimpse or leading to a partnership with SRO in terms of esports commitment and the SRO license for all the tournaments and stuff?
Well, the presence of the BMW M4 GT3 EVO has been quite pushed by BMW Motorsport, first of all. They are quite happy, same as us, to work together. They appreciated quite a lot the approach we had with Competizione to create cars very keen to the simulation and so on. So when they asked us to produce also the GT3 EVO version, there was no second thought. But since all our efforts now are on EVO for the moment, and when we started to talk with BMW, because the creation of a single car is not something that comes like this. There are months and months of project production, design, from any point of view, commercial side, data side, and so on, in order to find the right spot to release the car in time for the competition. So you always see the very top edge of the iceberg, but there is a world behind it. So starting from this will that BMW had to have the new car in EVO, we started to work on it, and of course we have an ongoing partnership with SRO that we are mutually happy with. So we believe that was quite a good match to get the BMW in a SRO event like Spa-Francorchamps.
I think with the BMW M4 GT3 being in the game, many people say also, oh, it's boring, GT3, we saw enough of that, but let's be honest, it's the most popular also online racing category right now.
Absolutely.
And it has to be in the game somehow, so we can kind of expect now, it's a given that we will see more GT3s.
Absolutely. The feeling I personally have, but it's just me, every time I join a GT3 competition like Spa-Francorchamps, for example, every year I say to myself, wow, we should make another Assetto Corsa competition.
Okay.
So yeah, it's something that we are keen to continue to do in the future.
So yeah, we ask about SRO licensed content in AC EVO in the future. So can we also expect like GT4 and GT2, the stuff that we had in ACC already, or will you focus more on the production street car stuff?
No. At the end, EVO will have to provide a very good balance between classic cars, road cars, racing cars.
A little bit of everything.
Everything.
Because many people ask also for the direction of Assetto Corsa EVO. For some people, it's not very clear. What is the path that AC EVO is heading to? Is it the open world? Is it multiplayer? Is it single player? But your answer is pretty much we try to have a broader approach.
Well, you can imagine that one of the reasons we made the free roam is that because we love to make any kind of cars in the game. But even in the first Assetto Corsa, you have cars like the very old Fiat 500 that is quite boring to use on the track.
Yeah, we talked about
that
already.
As well as other cars that are quite perfect for the free roam. So that the final goal with EVO is to provide a driving simulation, a racing simulation that on 360 degrees can match with the expectation of any possible kind of users.
It's a
because
driving.
We don't want to give up in terms of simulation value and car handling, but we want and we need to embrace always brighter community. So instead to give up in terms of realism or what Assetto Corsa through the years given to the community, we want to please any kind of tastes from the Formula 1 to the classic cars, racing cars and so on. In terms of racing cars, the idea is to give priority to possibly the GT3 and also the Cup cars, like for example the Porsche Cup GT3, because BMW, because with just one car you can cover a single maker championship. So this is another thing like the Ferrari Challenge, for example, and or the Mazda MX-5. But eventually we want to fill the field of the 100 cars that we want to have in the 1.0 version of EVO with any possible kind of car and car classes, so we can try to make everybody happy.
I think someone mentioned also the McLaren 720S from the first trailer, and he was like, "Oh, the car's not yet there." So, but that car is not off the table, right? It just a bit of patience.
No. I mean, in the trailer you can see also the Volkswagen Golf Mark 1 that eventually possibly will come with a free roam, because otherwise, as I said before, maybe it would be a bit boring to have it unless we start to release also tracks that are more little, like club circuits, where even a car like the I don't know, the old Mini Cooper can make sense to drive it on the track.
Quickly touching on the track topic, because I saw a comment also on our forum, someone asking for tracks in South America, because right now we have multiple continents already. So South America still not in the game. Is there anything planned in that direction?
No, the game is planned because for example, the Brazilian community is quite huge for sim racing. The only problem, but there are companies that now are specializing a lot in providing laser scan data or LiDAR data in any part of the world. In the past, we didn't push so much on some specific areas, mainly for logistic problems, because it's challenging. I recognize that the South America is not covered yet from Assetto. In the future, definitely we want to put it in an option.
Do you also plan historic tracks like Monza 66 or whatnot?
We did it already in AC1, and we saw, and I would say sadly, because I'm a big fan of classic racing and so on.
It's a very small group.
That there is a huge interest for classic cars, but not that much for classic circuits that don't exist anymore. And it can be even more challenging to produce an historical track that doesn't exist anymore, that a new one, because you don't have documentation. You can get back in time and laser scan it. When we made the first original laser scan survey of Spa-Francorchamps, we were there with for a couple of days. And there was our supplier for the laser scan company. Eventually we asked him if he was able also to scan, now they are public roads, but the old course of Spa-Francorchamps. So we did it. So we had the laser scan of the roads, and some of them are closed, some are not open to the public, and so on. Eventually we discarded the option to make the historical version of Spa, just because of the lack of interest compared with other modern tracks.
Cool. And then make sure to keep the data also from the 2024, 2025 scans, because then in 40 years we can sit together again and say, hey, we now have the 2025.
Even Spa has been changed quite a lot in the last 2 to 3 years.
Many tracks will change in the future probably.
In fact, we have received the laser scan, did the laser scan of Spa-Francorchamps, and we integrated the modification in the version that you can
the very latest
play downstairs.
A bit maybe about what's happening right now in sim racing. Many people right now call it the golden age of sim racing because we have so many titles to play, so many great updates, so many new players also coming in, or old players that have a new publisher, like for example Project Motor Racing. And they also just announced modding support from day one, also on consoles through this like Giants editor. What do you think about that? What's your take on that? Does it
it's quite good for the community because the content creators, even with Assetto Corsa, they made a tremendous job through the years, and giving the community the possibility to give their contribution to their most favorite games is something that can create an even better connection with the community. So, we made Assetto Corsa that is famous also for the modding, so I think that is quite a good move.
So do you in general, like also like your team, do you guys try other simulators and their updates like LMU or the new GT3 tires in iRacing?
Absolutely.
You are monitoring.
Well, first of all, we are enthusiasts, sim racing and car enthusiasts. So of course we have also our personal tastes in our team. So for example, a guy could like a simulator that another hates and so on. But we are sim racers like anybody else. So we have internally we have the same fights that you can see in the forums. Oh, because Assetto Corsa is better. No, iRacing is better, and so on. So But we test everything because. If you want to stay competitive, you need to see, to understand, and to try what the others are doing. Also because you need to keep an humble approach. I mean, we we don't think to have at Kunos Simulazioni the holy grail of simulation that nobody has us. And I'm pretty sure that also the guys at iRacing or Factor 2 or LMU think the very same. So if we want to improve, you need to understand what the other are doing, so that you can see actually and recognize if you have more margin or if there is any specific aspect or area where you have margin of improvement because other guys or other companies did the same. I want to understand which kind of product I will play when I will retire, so that for my spare time I can understand if I want to continue to play EVO or racing and so on.
Okay. Are you playing other games other than racing games, by the way?
I don't have the time.
Okay.
I can tell you the game I purchased, but I'm not playing, if you like. Like the last Indiana Jones.
Ah, yeah, I saw that. It was pretty cool.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Then we have a follow-up question by Immortal X from our forum. I'd love to know if their modding system is currently in the works, or is it something that they'll start working post-release? I think you already announced in the last update that you will bring the modding tools earlier than usually planned. Is there a timeline on when the modding tools will be available?
No, we are still defining internally the priorities we have with EVO, because first of all we need to deliver to the community what they are expecting for. Yeah. The modding is quite an important part, but the approach we are doing now, because possibly one mistake we made with EVO is that we brought too many things all together. That means that also you had to face multiple kind of issues, fixes and so on at the very same time. So we are preferring a step-by-step approach now, so that we finalize before the most priority things, and then eventually we move step by step to the other ones. Some companies that through the years with Assetto Corsa, they have been specialized in creating official modes for car manufacturers, truck companies and so on. Of course we'll continue to work with them to have high quality level third-party content, but we provide the modding tools to the community in public, so that by this point of view we change it.
What is the tool capable of? Like
importing content, like the editor in AC1, so that you can't create a circuit in the editor. I mean, even now we continue to use the classic 3D modeler software suites, and eventually we import the CAD or 3D Max into the editor, applying all the shaders, the textures, the materials we need. Of course, the editor in EVO is quite more advanced than the one we had in AC1. So many of these features will be available also for the community to place NPC rather than flags, idle lines, and so on in a different way.
We had recently the situation with WRC license going back from Codemasters, Nacon securing it again. So the next WRC game will take a long while now, until I think 2027
even. I guess.
Yeah. So people, I read that very often when we ask the community for questions for you, Marco. Have you ever experimented with off-road and rally car content and gravel and stuff? So is there something that we can expect also in the open world, maybe? Because the Eiffel and rally, it's a match.
Well, in the open world, thanks to the terrain technology we created, you can go literally everywhere.
Yeah.
So also on the grass, on the fields,
to the forests.
To the forest. Actually, in this moment, the collisions with the trees are still off, so that you can go through the trees.
Many people
going downhill. But eventually, when we will turn it up, it will be much more tricky, and you can destroy the cars. But jokes apart, we believe that rally belongs to a kind of community that deserves to have a dedicated product. Yeah. Because the gravel, for example, has a completely different kind of physics and feeling if compared with the tarmac. Not just because the surface, but also because of the tire model. That is
Absolutely. There's
quite
more happening.
Different. Specific an Assetto Corsa Rally product specifically designed for it, I guess that would be better rather than having rally cars in EVO in the free roam.
Do you consider that, or considered that in the
Yes.
past to make a known
Yes.
rally simulator?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it still on the table?
Yes.
Oh wow! But there could still be like rally cars with a tarmac spec that can just run on the tarmac in the open world. So you can have like a Lancia Delta HF Integrale as a rally car with
Well, I
tarmac.
mean, if you set up with tarmac tires, you can just put the Lancia Delta Integrale. That is quite different than the stock version we have.
And people could mod it, right? People could make rally versions of the cars and have like. Will you also be able to mod the open world? Can you then create rally stages within the open world once it's
The system has been set to create A to B course, closed course, so that we can have also challenges from going, I don't know, from Adenau to Nürburgring. The guy is much more expert than me in suggesting which kind of courses we could create. Of course, closed roads because we want also to educate people in driving in a good way on the roads when
but
they are open.
if it's a rally event, then it's fine.
If it's an rally event or an climb event, it's fine.
So we can create rally events or A to B time trial races in the open world in Assetto Corsa EVO, so we can run our own rally.
A lot of the idea is that at Kunos side we'll create a lot of special events defining which is the starting point and the finish point. In the future, it would be nice also to let the community to have the map so that they can set up their own the kind of course they want to make. But this is for now it's far in advance.
We already touched on this topic in previous interviews, but someone asked again if it's also planned to have not only the Eifel open world, but maybe even other like coastlines or roads, or maybe other smaller open worlds and such that can come later in DLCs, like in the life cycle.
It depends by also the reaction that people will have with the Eiffel map, because there is a huge work behind that. And before to think, okay, which is going to be the next one, we want to see which be the interest, the reaction. We believe that people will spend tons of time there. And also the technology has been created to support much more areas. But this is something that one step per time, and let's see. What we need to define is the gameplay. Because we can't just release the map and allowing you to drive, because we want that people can take the very best kind of engagement from the asset. And there are a lot of people that will come from other games where they have a proper gameplay, not just the driving in the free roam, so that they expect to get challenges to what I have to do now. Except for driving. And the gameplay must be set up yet.
So when you release the open world, it should also show your vision already on how to make it enjoyable and how to make it
Absolutely.
So
we want to include already the interactive locations, the possibility to rent cars. All that has been announced is going in place, but until we don't put everything in place, we are not going to release it.
Okay.
But so in the next few months, we already programmed to share more also about the free roam with the community, so that we'll have walkthrough videos through the roads of the area, so that people can also see the progress in terms of production, and we can share with them what we are doing.
So from announcing summer 25, you got to, we can't tell you when it's coming?
No, not yet.
Okay.
The others that could come from, I don't know, Forza Horizon, for example, and they are used to get a proper gameplay and a lot of different challenges. They could say, okay, so what now? So it's quite important to engage the community, not just for the driving, but to make challenges.
Pizza delivery?
Pizza delivery, I don't know, maybe, in the future, I mean, I would like to, in the future, to have also the possibility that you can drive a service truck that can bring your cars all around the area when you are stuck on the track or something like that. Why not?
It's a little bit about a little bit about role playing, the Nürburgring
ambulance
experience.
simulator. I don't know.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I can imagine like being on the server with my friends. They are tourists driving on the Nordschleife, and I can park my car on the Brünnchen and watch them going around the Brünnchen.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
would be possible, right?
This is the very basics we want to do. Yeah.
Okay. 1.0 will happen 2025 still.
Not defined yet, but
It's your goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the goal, but it's not written on stone yet.
So also consoles, because people always ask for consoles.
Console will not. I can say that console will not arrive. Even if we close the 1.0 version for PC at the end of the year, and it's not sure at all, the console version will not come the very same day.
The most questions that I saw is around consoles, and especially PS5 with PSVR2. Whenever we have new pieces around any simulator right now,
I know.
People want to know, because they bought this PSVR2 on the PlayStation and they play Gran Turismo and no other racing game supports it. So that's the most common question. Can you make it possible?
Hopefully. It's a matter of performance, first of all. I have to say that the guys that work at Polyphony, since the very first Gran Turismo, they made always a wonderful job. And they are good like anybody else to keep the very best from the hardware. And they have the proper support of Sony on this. It's not something that you can give for granted. But they are very skilled in doing the best, and they do. Of course, we are aimed to make the same. Or sometime you have a specific feature in mind from the very beginning, and eventually you base all the project on the fact that the game will need to support the PlayStation VR2. And in that case, you made sometime a compromise on some other aspects because you have the VR in mind, for example. I would say that before we want to bring the game on PS5, and eventually we'll see. We want to finish the game on PC before, we want to convert it on console at the very possible best.
We saw the What's Next for AC EVO, the video that you made in your studio, and apologized a bit for the delays and stuff. And then there was like this one scene where the community saw, hey, this Logitech wheel, that must be something new. You received a call by Logitech the next day, you revealed something there that is not yet public, or?
Well, we received so much support from all the manufacturers, and I'm so glad that the device business and industry in the very last years is growing a lot in terms of not just new companies, but also in terms of
hardware,
quality of product, hardware. We get a very good support from all of them, and sometimes we receive in advance some stuff that eventually will arrive. So we'll see.
Okay. Then in our last interview, you unveiled a car, the Audi RS6 back then. You told us, Audi RS6 will also be in the game. Do you have another car that you can tell us today, maybe, that is not yet in the screenshots or trailers?
Well, we unveiled the Dallara Stradale and also the Caterham, the Caterham Academy. Caterham is another car brand that lands for the first time in Assetto Corsa franchise, for the first time. We did it made in AC1, and we are so happy because it's a gorgeous car to drive.
Yeah, very light.
Is very light, can be quite challenging, but we believe that since we'll come with a 0.3 build that will include a multiplayer, we believe that it will be one of the first choices of the community, because you can have amazing races. It's one also of the cars that you can customize quite a bit in EVO. So yeah, that was amazing to see, like the factory options for some cars. It's really detailed right now, what you can change, and like different factory packages and stuff. There is another car that will land on the 0.3 version, that is the BMW M3 E30. Oh, nice, yeah. That is one of the most appreciated and loved car in AC1. By the way, we remade the model from scratch. because the one we had in AC1, since we were not cut data available and not laser scan at the time, we made something that could be improved in terms of sizing of some parts. So this time the model has been laser scanned, so and also the physics model has been revamped and so on.
You touched the multiplayer, so in July, right? It will be the 0.3.
Is in the schedule for the July. It will be released once we are happy with all the functionalities, because except for the netcode, we need to set up the UI in a way people can use it at the best.
So it will be already in partnership with SimGrid, the multiplayer stuff?
Well, they are helping us to test it, and they are already working on to set up all they need for the 0.4 version, but the SimGrid functionalities will arrive later.
Okay, so the first thing that we can expect is maybe some like daily races where you can match up just against people without any like, is there already a rating or safety ratings and stuff implemented?
It will come later, because before we want to test the multiplayer, the server management,
open system.
very open system, just to throw on the track and compete.
No matchmaking, so you just randomly placed and okay, that's good to know then for the multiplayer update. Look back at Assetto Corsa Competizione, because the official Assetto Corsa account on Instagram replied to a user, and they were asking about Assetto Corsa Competizione, and your account just said, hey, we are not done with it yet. So what can we expect for the support of Assetto Corsa Competizione going forward?
We are investigating, and this is one of the reasons we are here this weekend, to understand which is the best possible strategy to continue to support Competizione while we work on EVO. That, of course, in the last, I would say, year and a half, got all our attention, because it's quite an ambitious project. But we see that there is still a lot of interest for Competizione, because
active player base.
Absolutely, and we kept it updated for 6 years, so people would like to see it forever and ever, and we are quite proud about that. So since there is also a lot of work behind the production of Competizione, we want to take advantage of all the job that has been done to see if we can continue to keep it alive. We are investigating in which way we can continue to support it with the community, also trying to address what are the critical points that people are asking to continue to keep the interest high for Competizione, and we'll see if this workflow is feasible considering the size of our team, which are the expectations of the community, what realistically we can do, and so on. But we are keen to continue in some way to support the game.
Is there any like special talking point that you can already give us, like something specific, maybe livery update or physics?
The livery update is quite the most simple thing, because it's more an artist workflow chain. But except for the liveries, we would like to do more. But we are still investigating.
Gabi Zen 64 asked in our forum about performance issues and some problems and stutters with modern video cards. So I guess that's also part of the early access and a constant optimizing.
Well, it's part of the early access. We would like to be in a better situation by this point of view, because we faced some issue that was surprising, because we saw for the very first time, but moving also to DirectX 12, that some users had some specific problem with specific hardware. It's quite tricky to be able to investigate which is the nature of the issue. So we also bought hardware that was specifically addressed for some issues. The 0.3 includes even more improvements than 0.2, so we are quite confident that there will be another gain in the performance, solving the stuttering for some configurations, and we are continuing to work in order to improve the overall thing.
And there will be also more improvements than probably for step 3 of triples and VR, because many people also ask that.
Always.
Yeah, it's given.
Then there are also some. We are organizing better the configuration page, for example, for the visuals, effects, and so on, because we saw that some people, for example, use the temporal anti-aliasing and the DLs together. That is doesn't make sense. Or we worked for the memory pool size. That was another issue that prevented some people to play the game at the best because they were setting not properly the memory pool size, but we understand that we need to give them sometimes less options to make the game working better.
And then many people also had questions around racing AI and the experience with like racing the AI in general. And then Peter Carini also asked about the AI development realistically, like AI development, and I think we talked already about a little bit in the last interview that you wanted to implement like different styles of AI drivers and learning through like a tournament, or you drive a specific racing series and you have the names of the specific drivers and they have their own character. This is still on the table, right?
Absolutely, yes. And also in the 0.3 we are working to improve also the high AI algorithms so that we can provide a better experience with a single player race.
And then there's a little follow-up questions from Eric 76 and Hani 3. Multiplayer with AI, will it be possible in the same spirit driver swaps with AI? Can you put AI also into a multiplayer server with your friends and race against
we are making some experiment on that side. What we want to make clear is that we can't be in a situation where, for example, a player that is racing in a multiplayer race can switch his own car to the AI, for example. It's quite complicated because sometimes an AI player could make a mistake and ruin the car or a physical driver, and we don't want to create frustration by this point of view. In the future could arrive. Because a lot of people ask this to fill sometimes the grid of some races that could have much more or less cars. Is something on the table? Before than that, we want to provide a very good AI single player experience and a very good multiplayer, and eventually we'll see if this is possible. Technically, it's already possible because sometimes we use it also in this period making some multiplayer tests. But making it in a way that is feasible for the community is a different game.
Okay, we have more, like multiple questions from Uzio08, and he had some pretty interesting ones as well. Like we already touched on the other open world maps or future DLC, so you already also mentioned that of course after 1.0 there will be more development and more DLC, and also paid DLC probably, right? There will be season pass probably or something like that.
We are thinking about that. Of course any DLC will come during the early access period. We never did it and it's not our policy.
Will any brands be missing an EVO from Assetto Corsa 1?
No, I think not. Well, maybe we don't have for now any specific plan for the Pagani yet.
Okay, Pagani.
But I guess that there are very few exceptions, and doesn't mean that Pagani will not be in EVO. But at the moment we are working with. We are giving priority to those manufacturers that weren't in AC1, and we want to put in...
Like Hyundai.
Hyundai, for example, yes, Volkswagen.
And then he had an interesting question that I'm very interested in as well. Nordschleife, is it like, we know the open world kind of has the Nordschleife, but will the Nordschleife arrive before the open world?
Before, yeah.
Oh, that's nice, that's good.
Already we are working in order to release it maybe before fall, or within fall this year.
Oh, cool. Uzio also asked about the showroom. Will there be more things like hood opening animations, where you can like pop the hood of the car and stuff?
Yes, we are working also on that side. Maybe you will see already something in the next build with some new scenario. But the idea is to make also the showrooms always more rich, to give more possibility to enjoy also the beauty of the cars and not a racing environment.
He has one final question, Uzio08. Marco should blink twice if the Le Mans track appears in the 1.0 version in the future, or in the DLC in the future, in Le Mans.
Well, we...
He blinked twice.
3 times already.
Thrice.
So Le Mans confirmed. Well, actually, we stay in touch with a lot of trunk companies, including Le Mans. We believe that Le Mans is, like we were saying about rally before, is something that is something apart. It's not just another track. So you need to receive also a bunch of cars eligible for Le Mans. Doesn't mean never, but is not in the schedule for at least this year.
Then one more from No Escape 33333. Before the early X3s, there was discussion about the dynamic track drying, like the dynamic weather, even when driving off the racing line. Is this feature implemented in version 0.3? So when will we receive
No, this is one of the areas we are going to optimize because multiplayer is going to be quite challenging. Imagine the huge amount of data that the server should receive. So we are working in order to optimize the thing, and so I can't answer now to the question because this is one of the area of the investigation where we need to optimize a bit more.
And it will also be possible that parts of the track have rain on it while others don't, like a cloud.
Well, this could be possible,
especially on the Nordschleife.
It's so huge that.
But we have to be a bit patient for the implementation of this whole weather system then. And he was also the one asking about the South American tracks, and then he also asked about a laser-scanned version of Trento-Bondone.
Well, we had a lot of requests from that side. I don't know. It's not in the schedule, of course. But I recognize that it's quite an unappreciated aisle clean course. To us, it's much more interesting to produce something that we never did before, rather than doing again. This can be applied to the tracks because you can say, okay, we are not going to put Spa-Francorchamps on EVO because we did it before. Spa is Spa as well as the Nordschleife and any other track. For I'll climb courses is quite different. So one day I would like to make the Pikes Peak course. That would be great. Some years ago we approached the organization, but I guess that at the time was under an exclusivity.
Yeah, I think the license is still with Sony, with Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I guess so.
And they don't make anything with it.
Also the sound environment has been updated in the 0.3.
Yeah, that was addressed quite often also in the comments. People are not happy with certain sounds of certain cars. So some cars sound great, but some cars also a bit thin and a bit...
That's my opinion. I guess that since the competition is our previous latest product, and in competition, my personal opinion is that we set the benchmark for the audio environment. But it's all about racing cars that are much more noisy. You can see much more body work and so on. When you move with the very same engine that is a still F mode, and with the same artists and responsibles for the audio environment we had before, and the same people are working with the same technology on EVO. So the point is that moving from racing cars to a lot of stock and production cars can give you the feeling that the sound was better in competition just because of the different nature of the cars. That said, we reviewed all the cars that we have already released in the first two early access releases. And we added much more effects because also the physics model now is giving to the audio system more data and more values, so that in terms of transmissions, bodywork, and a lot of other stuff, transmission, and you can turbo, you can give more information that you can hear. You will hear and get a much better environment in the 0.3 than the 0.2, even on that aspect.
Well, we will hear it.
Yeah, you can make a comparison before and after, and let us know. We are sim racers. We started to bring to the community the same kind of product that ourselves would like to play. I think this is one of the keys of the success of the Assetto Corsa franchise. We have the privilege to work with a publisher that, by this point of view, even in these challenging times, because the video gaming industry is facing quite a huge struggling times right now. But I have to say that they never pushed us to do arcade games or something different than we do. if we think about how a simulation, a proper simulation like Assetto Corsa became so popular, I mean, we have more than 8 million users overall just with the AC1. And we have more than 3 million users with Assetto Corsa Competizione, that is a GT3 simulation. So,
do you have a percentage, like how many people play it on Xbox, PS5 and PC?
you will be surprised to know that the 35 to 40% of overall users come from console.
So then, Marco, thank you for being open with us and being so transparent about all the processes and then updates. And we are excited for the next update, especially with multiplayer and Spa. And Spa will be in the 0.3.
Yeah. Within the Red Bull Ring and 9 cars.
Oh, very good. Oh, a lot of cars.
Yeah.
We are looking forward to that.
I think that you will be pleased to see about the car list.
Yeah. If you guys have more questions, let us know in the comments, and we'll keep those for the next interview. So,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.